escalating from punches and pushing inside the MCD house. The AAP versus BJP fight over the election of the civic body's new mayor spilled out on the streets of the capital today. While the Aam Aadmi Party laid siege outside the Delhi BJP office, the BJP replied with a counter-protest outside the Chief Minister's residence. The big question, when will this deadlock end and when will the capital's real issues be addressed?
बीजेपी बेईमानी करके सरकार बनाना चाहती है, हम उनकी बेईमानी नहीं चलने देंगे।
आम आदमी पार्टी केवल और केवल करप्शन और बेईमान लोगों की पार्टी बन चुकी है।
A fierce face-off on the roads of Delhi, a high-voltage political drama in the national capital as the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party fight over mayoral elections to the Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Arvind Kejriwal's party has staged a protest outside the Delhi BJP office and raised slogans against the Saffron Party. The protest was against the Delhi Lieutenant Governor's appointment of 10 aldermen or nominated members in the civic body. The BJP's counter-protest saw hundreds of its workers march to Kejriwal's residence, questioning the ruckus inside the MCD house that derailed the mayor poll on Friday. They breached the barricades set up outside the Chief Minister's house. BJP MP Parvesh Verma was detained by the police and later released.
Aam Aadmi Party is saying that this is being done in order to give advantage to the BJP on the floor of the house, and therefore this is the main crux of the story, and this is why both the parties are now on the streets putting the blame for that ruckus that happened on that particular day.
The two parties have been levelling charges for days against each other.
बेईमानी वो करेगा जिसको कुछ नहीं मिला, जिसको जनता ने कुछ नहीं दिया, इसलिए बीजेपी बेईमानी करके सरकार बनाना चाहती है, हम उनकी बेईमानी नहीं चलने देंगे।
Why are you not letting the councillor take the oath? Point number one. Why, if you are so much worried that you are in a बहुमत में हो आप, and you are in a majority, why are you not letting the mayor and deputy mayor election should happen?
We raised our voice that we won't let anything happen unconstitutionally, because always Bharatiya Janata Party has done things in the past also in an unconstitutional way. Nominated councillors are not given any right to put their vote in the voting.
हमारा संघर्ष जारी रहेगा जब तक केजरीवाल अपने गुंडे निगम पार्षदों को नहीं बर्खास्त करेगा। हम भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता सड़क पे उतरेंगे। उसकी हिम्मत कैसे हुई कि हमारी महिला निगम पार्षदों को मारा गया।
Delhi is yet to elect its first single mayor in 10 years after the Municipal Corporation of Delhi was unified last year. The country saw unruly and embarrassing images from the MCD house on Friday when the maiden meeting of the newly elected councillors was adjourned without electing the mayor. Aam Aadmi Party and BJP councillors even exchanged blows and hurled chairs at each other. Bureau Report, India Today.
So where does the resolution lie? What happens from here? Earlier in the house of the Municipal Corporation of Delhi, now in the streets, we're seeing this massive AAP versus BJP face-off. But there has to be a resolution. Where does the law lie? What about the politics? To talk about this and more, we're joined on this broadcast representing the BJP, its spokesperson Charu Pragya. Priyanka Kakkar represents the Aam Aadmi Party. Aditya Shankar Prasad is an advocate of the Supreme Court. Prashant Manchanda is another advocate of the Supreme Court. And Anil Gupta is the former Chief Law Officer of the erstwhile North MCD. So those are our guests for the show. I want to start by asking Aditya Shankar Prasad to explain why the decision of the Delhi LG to allow for these nominated councillors to be sworn in, the aldermen to be sworn in and to be made a part of this mayor election is actually good in law. So what's the premise, and then we'll get the Aam Aadmi Party to respond to it. Why do you think what the LG has done is actually proper in law?
Well, Rahul, that's a very pertinent question that you asked me. And let me bring the law on record regarding the inducting of all the 10 aldermen by the Honorable LG. You see, this is a legal provision that is mandated in the MCD Act, the Delhi Municipal Corporation Act. Section 3B1 states that 10 persons who are not less than 25 years of age and who have special knowledge or experience in municipal administration to be nominated by the administrator, provided that the persons nominated under this subclause shall not have the right to vote in the meetings of the corporation. They are simply aldermen. And what have they been chosen for? For their knowledge, for their discretion insofar as administering the matters of Delhi Municipal Corporation is concerned. And that is solely the prerogative of the LG. And after this entire notification that has come about in the Gazette, which is passed on 18th of April 2022 in the Gazette of India, you see the government in this case happens to be the central government. And since Delhi is a union territory, the discretion of the central government reigns supreme insofar as appointing the alderman is concerned, the LG being the representative of the central government. The constitution had given certain features regarding the union territories, and specifically when it comes to Delhi being the national capital, there are some preeminent considerations which have to be taken into account while exercising the administrative affairs of Delhi. And for that, LG has been given requisite power. So thereafter, if these aldermen are appointed by the LG, I don't see any sense of any controversy.
No, but why do you think, Prashant Manchanda, what the Lieutenant Governor has done is wrong? Because these aldermen can indeed be appointed by the Lieutenant Governor. The question is, does it happen before the mayoral elections? Does it happen before the councillors are sworn in? Does it have to happen after a mayor has been elected? The LG and the likes of Aditya Shankar Prasad think that the LG has done no wrong.
First of all, we have to see this issue not isolatedly, but comprehensively. In order to understand the administrative structure of the NCT of Delhi, we must also focus at Article 239, capital A, wherein specific provisions and specific entries have also been incorporated, such as entry 1, 2 and 18. As to 1, 2 and 18, there is no mention, there is no embargo whatsoever over the state legislature to take a call on urban bodies. That is why it is important to also have a look at entry 5 of the constitution. This is one part of it which specifically talks about the state legislature having a control over the urban bodies with respect to the administrative affairs. This is one aspect of it. And second aspect of it is the precedent that has been followed. The precedent is this, that initially it is the elected representatives which have to be administered the oath. Thereafter, from the elected representatives, by virtue of Article 243R, which categorically puts an embargo on the nominated councillors to be a part of that election, then a mayor has to be elected, then a deputy mayor has to be elected, and only thereafter the nominated members are selected. Now I am given to understand this procedure has been digressed, and that is perhaps one of the reasons why there could be this apprehension. As I again say, that by virtue of Article 239 AA, there is no embargo whatsoever with respect to the state legislature to do the things that
so let me go across to Anil Gupta, because we've heard a AAP leaning point of view, we've heard a BJP leaning point of view. Now you've been the former law officer of North MCD. In the way that you understand the law, should the alderman have been sworn in before the mayor election is completed or after that? Has the Lieutenant Governor done the right thing or is he wrong? Anil Gupta, can you hear me?
Yes, madam. Can I speak in Hindi?
आपको जिस भाषा में बोलना है आप उसमें हमें जवाब दे सकते हैं. मेरा सवाल ये है कि क्या लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर ने कानून के हिसाब से सही चीज़ की है या बेसिकली वो बीजेपी की शह पे पॉलिटिक्स करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं?
No. LG has perfectly done legal thing. There is nothing illegality. Let me tell madam, after amendment in DMC Act recently, earlier this power was vested with the Delhi government, and aldermen are elected on the aid and advice of the Delhi government. But after amendment in the DMC Act, entire power has been vested with the LG who is administrator and delegate of the central government.
Okay, so let
LG
Priyanka Kakkar respond to the point that you're making. In the law, as it stands at this moment, the former law officer of the MCD suggests that the Lieutenant Governor is indeed correct. It is for him to appoint the alderman. This is not something for the Kejriwal government to do. And in any case, you can still go ahead and have the election. Why is the Aam Aadmi Party making such a big song and dance on the streets of Delhi, Priyanka?
Good evening, Rahulji. Good evening to everyone. I'm very grateful to the lawyers. At least they first agreed with the fact that the alderman has no voting rights, be it any act. So this is our first demand from the LG, that he should give this in writing, that the alderman shall have no voting rights in consonance with the law. One. Secondly, I disagree with Aditya ji on one point, and the other lawyer as Anil ji on one point is that, see, what has happened is there's a Kelsen theory of law, and the lawyers can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a Kelsen theory of law which says that we have to distinguish between legal science and legal politics. There is a hierarchy of laws that is followed in our country. And the topmost law in the hierarchy of law happens to be the Constitution of India. And it is a very well settled position of law that if there is a conflict between two provisions of any act, then the Constitution shall prevail. In this case, the Constitution 243R very clearly states that the legislature of a state may by law provide for appointment of the alderman. 1 point. Now, what has also happened is the Lieutenant Governor has bypassed the elected government completely and named a few karyakartas, low-ranking karyakartas of the BJP who have no special knowledge. One. Secondly, Rahulji, it is very important that the tyranny of the unelected must end. And why I say this is there's been not just one point. There's been a multiplicity of illegalities committed by the unelected, by the loser government. Now, what are these? One, the first was the appointment of the pro tem speaker. It goes against the convention as well as the law. Convention being that the senior most is appointed, who we nominated a person who had over 23 years of experience. Firstly, the law which has been broken is 243R, which clearly states that the legislature of the state shall appoint. Secondly, they went ahead and appointed a Hajj committee, completely bypassing the elected government. See the tyranny of the unelected. They have lost. I don't know why they must appoint the pro tem speaker against the laws and against the conventions. Then again, the voting rights of the aldermen. That was the intention, I am given to understand that on the day when the oath-taking ceremony was happened, 3 boxes were placed for the appointment of the mayor, the deputy mayor and the standing committee. Whereas the pro tem speaker's role ends by ensuring that, okay, the oath-taking ceremony has happened and then you vote for the mayor and that's it. The pro tem speaker is only a temporary speaker for the time being for the appointment of the mayor. That is it. So,
okay. So let Charu Pragya respond. You're saying dal mein kala, and why you think that this is not happening in a kosher fashion is A, the Lieutenant Governor hasn't clarified that these aldermen will not vote. That's point number 1. Point number 2, you should let the Aam Aadmi Party form the mayor, because the fact is in the MCD election, their party got 134 councillors, you got 104, you've lost the election. Now you're trying to find some jugaad solution to hoist a mayor, even though the people of Delhi didn't vote for you to rule the MCD.
Rahul, good evening. And as usual, Aam Aadmi Party continues to be a bundle of complaints. And none of these complaints make sense because one, what transpired the other day was completely in accordance of law. Second, we're not digressing from the issue. I'll tell you what the issue is. And it started transpiring from the morning of the day of the election. Aam Aadmi Party realized that even though they have got more councillors on the ground, 134 actually, even if you count the aldermen as Priyanka would like to do on the BJP side, even if I do that, they're still far ahead on the number tally than BJP. And yet they are afraid that their own councillors will not vote for their mayor. What is the reason for that? And that is why this entire ruckus was created. Point number 1. Point number 2. Their logic is because they've got more seats, the mayor should be theirs. Now tell me, where does it say in any document, any constitution, any law, anywhere in India, that only the party which has got maximum number of seats can stand for an election? Please tell me that. अगर ऐसा logic applicable होता तो मोदी जी के सामने कोई चुनाव नहीं लड़ता ना. Priyanka, I did not interrupt you even once. Please let me get through my points and then we will come back to you again. I'm sure Rahul will come back to you. So that is besides the point. What is the end result of the election? We will wait and watch. But who are they to tell us what election we can contest, what election we can stand for, and what election we cannot stand for? That's point number 2. Point number 3. Do you know 14 MLAs are eligible to vote for the mayor election? 14 MLAs. And going by the count in Delhi, 13 of these MLAs are Aam Aadmi parties. Only one belongs to my party, Bharatiya Janata Party. Did we create a ruckus? Did we do this entire UN cry about equal number of MLAs from both the parties should be allowed to vote? Not at all. Last point. Why were the MLAs in the MCD house carrying sharp objects and blades? Did you see the way they behaved? And it is all on camera. I am not saying this. Just go and see the CCTV footage. When the second councillor was taking oath, one AAP councillor jumped up, broke the mic, hurt his own hand in the process, but basically broke the mic and started.
So Priyanka
this ruckus,
Karkar, respond to this. No matter how you do the maths, you have 134 councillors. 3 of your Rajya Sabha AAP MPs can vote. That's 137. You've got 13 MLAs who are nominated to vote. That's 150. The BJP has 104 plus, even if these 10 aldermen can vote, that's 114 plus 7 is 121 plus 1 MLA who can vote is 122. So no matter how you play the maths, regardless of whether the alderman can vote or not, you seem to have at least a 15 councillor or 15 vote difference or a 15 vote advantage. Why are you scared? BJP says you are scared because you think some of your councillors won't vote for you.
Rahulji, one, I take strong objection to this, that we are scared. By any maths, we are winning. But by this logic that it doesn't, why it matters is, then we should, by that logic, also ensure that किसी को चलान ही मत भेजे, वो red light cross करता है तो क्योंकि कोई accident ही नहीं होता. They have to follow the law. It's just that simple. They have to follow the law. They have to follow the convention. Let's stop traffic challans if there's no accident. Let's do that.
Can I add one more
Does
thing?
it make sense? Secondly, she asked me if I can point out any provision to her. I respectfully ask her to read 243. The provision is very clear and I will read it. The legislature of a state may by law provide for the representation in a municipality of persons having special knowledge or experience in municipal administration. The proviso to that section reads, provided that the persons referred in para 1 shall not have the right to vote
Can I come in?
The municipality. Now, all we are saying is
that's not the question, Priyanka. That's not the question. The question is, where does it say the political party which has lesser councillors cannot stand for mayor elections?
Was I muted when she was speaking? I request the same, please.
No, let her speak. Charu, let her complete. I'll come back to you in a moment. Let her complete. They're saying we are fighting an election. Priyanka, respond to that. She's saying we are fighting an election. Let us fight.
Exactly.
Rahulji, we have no problem. We are saying follow the law. And these are the people who are flip-flopping. They didn't want to fight the mayor election. That is what they stated on record previously. Their Adesh Gupta ji stated that. And now if they want to do a flip-flop on that, at least follow the law. And in 2018, when we went to, when the constitutional bench of the Honorable Supreme Court gave a very clear verdict in the state of NCT versus Union of India 2018 8 SCC 501, she can check what I'm saying, that except police, except public order, except land, everything falls with the government, the elected government of Delhi. The tyranny of the unelected must end.
Okay, now Charu Pragya, here's the fact. Unless the BJP had some plan B, some backdoor solution to come in, you wouldn't make this a matter of pride and prestige. In the way that the new BJP functions, if you thought you were losing this mayor battle, you would have just let the Aam Aadmi party come in and form the government and say, okay, we respect the mandate. Now, obviously, there is some tikram. Obviously, there is some plan B, shadow fight that you want to do, which is why you're itching to up the ante.
Now, Rahul, to give a rest to your spy mind, let me make one thing very clear. In this country, elections are free and fair. In this country, whoever wants to stand for elections can stand for elections. The number of votes that candidate gets is irrespective. That comes later. So, one, Priyanka did not understand my question. I was very clear in saying that who is to say that which party can put in a candidate for mayor and which party cannot. There is nothing like this that she is claiming here. Point number 2. Now, it is our prerogative and it is our wish whether we want to contest this elections or not. I don't know if Aam Aadmi Party will have a mayor or not, but Delhi is going to have a mayor who belongs to the Aam Aadmi. Now, if the councillors of Aam Aadmi Party itself do not believe in their mayor candidate, it's not our problem, is it? And this ruckus was not started by us. On the morning of elections, Aam Aadmi Party started with dialogues, with statements to the media, and they tried to build this entire consensus where they were basically coming up with excuses for their loss. And that's exactly why their councillors walked in with blades. Please tell me, Rahul, which lawmaker breaks the law to such an extent that they enter the MCD house intoxicated, carrying blades? They hurt 2 women councillors of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I can give you names. Can Priyanka please stop interrupting me? Rahul, please, I'm trying to say something very serious.
Let Charu complete, Priyanka. Priyanka, don't heckle her. Let her complete. Go on, Charu.
And Priyanka, even though I understand your frustration, look at it from the point of view of an average Indian. When the national capital is choosing its mayor, and the party which claims to have won this election has councillors which are behaving so rowdily, which are actually attacking women councillors of another party, which walk in intoxicated carrying blades. It sends a very bad image of politics out into the public, and I am extremely against it. Can Priyanka not understand the meaning of not heckling and speaking not out of turn? I don't know what is her problem. And Rahul, I will, at the risk of repeating myself, tell you a few things. Number 1, the prerogative of the LG is to choose the alderman, and he's done that. Number 2, they are not even voting. Number 3, even if you put all the voting sides together, Aam Aadmi Party should have had nothing to worry about. They should have just let these elections go on as planned without this ruckus. What is the action that they've taken against the person who jumped up and broke the mic in the first place? Who started this entire deck of cards from falling down? He was the one who was at fault. And are you talking about women being attacked? 5 councillors heckled 2 women councillors.
Aditya Shankar Prasad, it's very clear that on the streets and in Delhi politics, there is a deadlock. What happens next? Is there a legal solution to this? Otherwise, this tutu meh, this fight on the streets and in the house will continue.
Well, Rahul, I don't think there is a need for a legal solution, because what the LG has done is purely within the scope of its constitutional powers. It is the Aam Aadmi Party which has been creating this kind of a ruckus, trying to gain some kind of a political mileage. But frankly speaking, as a practicing lawyer, I don't see that any kind of legal cauldron must arise out of it, unless and until one of the parties is willing to go to court and seeking to fight this out legally. So the issue here is that whether the selection or the election or the appointment of these aldermen as the prospective so-called councillors is right or not, and is constitutionally right or not, is to be decided by the High Court or the Court of Competent Jurisdiction. Legally speaking, I don't think this makes sense, but for the fact that the LG has acted within the scope of its constitutional powers and purely for politics and optics, all this is being done.
Okay. Prashant Manchanda, can there or should there be a legal solution, or do you think this can be ironed out in the house, because otherwise this battle continues on the streets?
Well, frankly, Rahul, if I see it constitutionally, there has been no disharmony at all. Unfortunately, it has been led to a situation where constitutionally and also the legal contours have been bypassed. It is as simple as that. The elected representatives should be administer oath, which should be followed by the election of the mayor, then followed by the election of the deputy mayor. Thereafter, whatever stands has to stand. In fact, I want to say one more thing, Rahul. A notification was passed in Chandigarh, which is also union territory, which was mirroring the act. It was only a notification, and that was also struck down by the Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court by saying that notification which states that a nominated member has a right in a meeting of a municipality election should be debarred from entertaining that. So it has to be done in a proper perspective, allow the elected representative to be selected, administer oath, elect the mayor, then the deputy mayor. Then in case if there is an issue, that should go to the Honorable High Court and Supreme Court.
So let's see what happens next, because politically that doesn't seem to be... Okay, go on.
Charuji was saying that what is the problem is there are 14 MLAs. If they come and elect, if they come and vote, it is the 14 MLAs. But please understand, these 14 MLAs have been allowed to vote in the constitution itself. They have been allowed to vote under section 3 of the Delhi Municipality Act, whereas both the acts debars the nominated council to vote for the particular mayor. That's my only point, legally.
Okay, so I leave it there. There is no political resolution in sight at this moment. We will track how this battle pans out on the streets, in the House and possibly in the courts. Coming up on the other side of a quick break, Prime Minister Modi takes stock of the Joshimath disaster zone. 600 houses have been evacuated after a survey was done via satellites. We'll get you ground reports when we come back on the other side of a quick break. Stay with us.
News is about putting people first.
Just look at the queues right across.
About asking the right questions to those in power.
It takes no sides. माँ का दर्द एक दर्द कोई नहीं समझ सकता उस दर्द को.
It reveals, it heals.
Angry people came out on the streets.
Is this the kind of justice system we want in this country?
News is all heart and no hatred.
बिल्किस बानो आज क्या कहना चाहेंगी आप?
हमारे साथ जो हुआ है किसी के साथ भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
Experience the news. With me, Rajdeep Sardesai, only on India Today.
And India remains the sole shining star in the global economy. So what lies ahead as the Modi government prepares its last full budget before the 2024 general elections? Join the biggest names in business journalism, decoding the jargon with the biggest newsmakers. From the most credible, in-depth analysis of Budget 2023, turn into Modinomics 2023 through the month. Only on India Today and Business Today Television, gold standard of business journalism.
Tonight at 9 p.m. on the News Today with me, Rajdeep Sardesai. It's a looming national catastrophe. Why is the town of Joshimath on the brink of collapse? And what can be done to save the sinking historic town and its residents? That's going to be the big talking point on the News Today. Also, the confrontation between the Tamil Nadu government and the governor has only intensified. What next in this battle in Tamil Nadu? And why is it that Brazil's parliament found itself under siege? All that and much more on the News Today.
You're watching an India Today special broadcast being brought to you from the stunning ski resort of Clusters, Davos.
The 53rd World Economic Forum is back at the snow-clad slopes of Davos. The smartest minds gather to debate the world's biggest challenges: energy crisis, industry headwinds, geopolitical risks, social vulnerabilities. India Today and Business Today are at ground zero to bring you all the action. Catch top corporate tycoons, politicians and intellectuals as they discuss cooperation in a fragmented world. Watch the Davos brainstorm only on India Today and Business Today TV.
You're on board the Newstrack. We're focusing now on the developments in Joshimath, which is the gateway to the famous pilgrimage sites like Badrinath and Hemkund Sahib. The town seems to be sinking quite literally. Houses, buildings and roads have developed major cracks. The temple town is on the edge. The Prime Minister is personally monitoring the situation in the temple town. It's a race against time to evacuate those who are living in the danger zone. Amit Bhardwaj is on the ground and he files this story.
Uttarakhand's Joshimath is crumbling. Subsidence threat continues. In Joshimath, angry residents blocked the DM's vehicle. They had a heated conversation with SDM Kumkum Joshi, who was inspecting relief centers. Meanwhile, a lawyer mentioned the issue of sinking Joshimath in the Supreme Court, which asked him to raise the matter again on Tuesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is monitoring the situation on the ground and has assured Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami of all help. Chief Minister Dhami held a meeting with the National Disaster Management Authority members. He also met experts from the Wadia Institute, Central Building Research Institute Roorkee and the IIT.
हमारी सबकी पहली प्राथमिकता है कि जोशीमठ शहर बसना चाहिए, जहां सभी लोगों से मैंने मिलकर भी वैसे भी अनुरोध किया है और लोग लगे भी हैं, सब लोग अब इस काम पर लग गए हैं और जो खतरे की जद में आने वाले 68 मकान थे उन सभी को शिफ्ट किया गया है.
The Border Management Secretary and NDMA teams have also visited Joshimath to assess the situation. Meanwhile, disaster management and expert teams formed by the Uttarakhand government have submitted their report to the Chief Minister.
सबसे पहले हमारा यही प्रयास है कि किसी का नुकसान ना हो, जहाँ रिस्क है वहाँ लोगों को शिफ्ट किया जाए और जल्दी से जल्दी इसके कारण का पता लगाया जाए.
The NTPC Hydel Power project near Joshimath is facing troubling questions as many are blaming it for the land subsidence. BJP leader Uma Bharti has alleged that power mafia is swallowing the country like a monster.
एक ये पावर जनरेशन का माफिया सामने आ गया है, तो उनको लग रहा है कि उत्तराखंड एक ऐसा फल है जहां पर कि फटाफट पर्यावरण विदों की मंजूरी मैनेज करो, हाइडल पावर प्रोजेक्ट लगाओ, करोड़ों का मुनाफा हो जाएगा. मैं कह रही हूं कि उत्तराखंड के विकास के लिए दूसरे रास्ते निकालो जो बेहतर हैं, ज्यादा रोजगार देने वाले हैं.
Former Chief Minister Harish Rawat called for a stop to the NTPC tunnel and other construction projects for the Char Dham pilgrimage.
एक ही तरीका है कि जोशीमठ को दूसरी जगह बसाया जाए, नया जोशीमठ बनाया जाए और पुराने जोशीमठ का ट्रीटमेंट किया जाए. जो कारण हैं जोशीमठ के सिंक करने के, जिसके सब लोगों में चर्चा है, उन कारणों में एनटीपीसी की टनल और दूसरे जो चार धाम यात्रा के निर्माण कार्य इत्यादि हैं, उन सब पर रोक लगाई जाए.
With cracks on the walls of houses widening, several buildings in Joshimath are on the verge of collapse. With Amit Bhardwaj in Joshimath, Bureau Report, India Today.
For a live report on what's happening at this moment, I want to go across to Amit Bhardwaj. He spent the last several days in Joshimath getting us accounts of how people are living out in the cold. Remember, being out of the comfort of their homes is very troublesome, particularly in peak winter. Where is this situation heading, Amit? That's the critical question. Is there any sense of how long these people could be away from their homes? When might they be allowed back, or do they need to be moved away from these houses forever?
Well, Rahul, we have reported from several wards of Joshimath and we have seen the kind of damage that has happened to these houses. I'll give you a couple of examples. We went to a house in Chavani Bazar this morning where paramilitary force establishments are located a few meters away. And the pillars of that house, it has cracks. The foundation of the house has cracks. It appears like a massive earthquake had hit the home. So, and a similar case is in Manohar Bagh as well, which is near to the Jyotir Math, one of the most important shrines of the Sanatan Dharma. So, these people who are being evacuated from their homes and being sent to relief camps, honestly, there's hardly any hope of them returning to their own homes. And that has been a fact that has been pressed in the expert committee report that was submitted to Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami today as well. The 8-member committee report recommends that the houses with maximum damage needs to be demolished and the debris needs to be removed from the spot immediately. Along with that, that expert committee report has also recommended that all sensitive areas needs to be analyzed right away so that, there could be a preemptive action to secure those places and ensure that these people are rehabilitated at a much safer locations. So as far as the question of whether these residents will be able to go back to their homes, there's hardly any hope. However, now the second question is that whether Joshimath can be saved or not. That depends on whether the government, whether it be the state government or the central government, is able to act on the recommendations that is being sent out by the expert committee reports at the state level, as well as several other experts who would be surveying the area and then sending the recommendations to the centre. Back to you, Rahul.
Okay, thanks, Amit. Keep up the good work on the ground. We'll come back to you for more updates over the next several days. Why exactly is Joshimath sinking? Akshita Nandagopal decodes the Himalayan risk that the temple town faces from unregulated development.
Located at a height of 6,000 feet, the winter seat of Lord Badri, Joshimath is a well-known tourist destination. Joshimath is a town in the Garhwal Himalayas and an important way station of both the pilgrim and trekking circuits. It's also of huge strategic importance to the Indian Army. But why is Joshimath sinking? Is over-exploitation for real? In the past few decades, the hill town has seen an explosion in population. There's been rampant growth in construction activities as well. Now, the geography of this town does set it apart. For a fact, Joshimath was built on an ancient landslide site, which results in its low bearing capacity. The Uttarakhand State Disaster Management Authority, in its 1976 report, said that the perennial streams, appreciable snow in the upper reaches and highly weathered gneissic rock made the area highly vulnerable to sinking, what we're seeing today. The impact of extreme rainfall has led to the expansion also of mountain streams and their channels and has changed their course, which has eventually induced more instability to this very, very fragile belt. Joshimath is a seismic zone, an area essentially that's prone to earthquakes, which adds to the new title, the sinking town. New development projects are also taking a clear toll. Projects such as the Helang Marwari bypass have brought the town under the impact of also tectonic activities. Despite the sensitivity of the area, major hydroelectric projects have also been sanctioned. There are many questions also over the NTPC hydropower project. Under this project, 2 tunnels are being dug. One is being dug from Tapovan and the other from Selang. Experts say that the blasts for this construction done for the projects and the seepage due to the constant tunneling work could actually have an impact. It could be responsible for the cracks that you see currently in several homes. And to a large extent, experts say this is the issue. There have been massive protests also against the NTPC hydropower project. Joshimath is on the brink with dangerous cracks widening now in several people's homes. Almost 600 families have to be evacuated, and that too on an urgent basis. Unplanned development activities without due regard to bearing capacity have contributed to aggravating the slope instability issues that Joshimath already faces. The question that remains currently looking at the situation in Joshimath, who's responsible for what's happening right now? Was a comprehensive study actually done before sanctioning some of these projects like the hydropower project? And why were these red flags ignored for so long till it's become such a dire situation, forcing families now to leave?
Joshimath is currently resembling a zone hit by a big earthquake. At least 600 houses have been relocated to the relief camps and shelters over the past 3 days. Experts blame what they are calling unregulated construction and administrative oversight for this grave crisis. Angry residents say their warnings have been ignored.
On the verge of collapse. A sinking gateway to pilgrimage in Uttarakhand. Cracks in homes and in buildings popular with the faithful bound to Badrinath. Residents being evacuated in the freezing cold. A town of at least 25,000 people, Joshimath breaks down in a Himalayan ecosystem rendered fragile by rampant development.
आज जब घर ही चला गया है तो मंदिर भी डूब गया है। हम बस ये चाहते हैं कि बस हमें जल्द से जल्द हमें सुरक्षित पहुंचाए। बस सरकार से यही विनती है कि हमारी भी आवाज सुने आगे।
For its impoverished residents, it's an imminent catastrophe.
Collapse of the temple that they have been worshipping at for generations has completely broken the courage and morale of people like Lakshmi Devi. She's crying and pleading to the state government that they should be given a safer location to live in with proper facilities, because the cold out here, the winter out here, it's chilling and the temperature dips sometimes even in the minus degrees late in the night.
This is Chhavni Bazaar, an area housing security paraphernalia for Joshimath. Now resembles a zone devastated by a powerful earthquake. The walls, pillars and foundations of its buildings wrecked by subsidence.
Protests are erupting in Joshimath. This is the Chhavni area of Joshimath, where you could see women are sitting on the road and they have blocked the traffic. This is the most important route as far as the Badrinath shrine is concerned, and the passage to several establishments of the paramilitary forces are concerned. But these women are angry. They are saying that first the government didn't listen to their warnings and now their houses are being sealed.
At least 68 families have been relocated so far to relief camps and shelters like these over the past 3 days.
हमारे तो आए दिन जितनी भी हमारी सुबह हो रही है यहाँ पे हमें मुश्किलें हो रही हैं।
Anjali Rawat's multi-story house suffered damage beyond repair, tilted beyond salvage. The Rawat family has been moved to a one-room setup at a municipal camp.
बाकी इतने दिन से मौत होने का भी प्रॉब्लम है, यहाँ पानी नहीं आता है।
हम सब लोगों से यही कह रहे हैं कि हमारे घर की व्यवस्था कर लो सबसे पहले, और हमें कुछ नहीं चाहिए। कई लोग हैं कि राशन लेके आ रहे हैं, कंबल लेके आ रहे हैं, पर हम उसका क्या करेंगे जब हमारे पास किचन ही नहीं है, तो रहने की जगह ही नहीं है, तो उन कंबलों का हम क्या करेंगे? हमारे घर में रहते हम तो हीटर लगाया रहता था, हमने अपनी पूरी व्यवस्था है हमारे घर में जो अपने घर की व्यवस्था होती है।
More than 603 buildings have developed cracks in Joshimath. Experts blame what they call unregulated construction and administrative oversight for the grave crisis. The risk of sinking flagged some 50 years ago. A government committee in 1976 forewarned of a disaster if construction activity was not controlled in Joshimath.
लैंडस्लाइड पे बैठा हुआ शहर है या गांव है, इतना बड़ा अब शहर बन गया, आपने अनुमति क्यों दी इतने बड़े शहर बसने की? इतना ज्यादा प्रेशर एक ऐसी जगह पे जहां पर कि जो ऑलरेडी एक लैंडस्लाइड पे बैठी हुई जगह है, वहां पे आप जो है ये सब होने दे रहे हैं। जो भी वैज्ञानिकों ने अपनी संस्तुतियां दी, क्या सरकार ने ईमानदारी से उनको जो है लागू किया है? मुझे तो नहीं लगता।
A limit to which mountains could be burdened. Joshimath bears the testimony to how the tectonically alive Himalayas could have been dangerously exposed to unscientific activity. With Amit Bharadwaj, Bureau Report, India Today.
A satirical book on former Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has become a flashpoint in Karnataka. The book showed Siddaramaiah as Tipu Sultan on its cover and mocked the Congress Neta over his alleged appeasement politics. While the Congress called the book defamatory, its release now has been put on hold.
A comatose Siddaramaiah on a velvet divan. A troubled Siddaramaiah on a throne. A subdued Siddaramaiah collapsed on the floor. These uncomplimentary depictions to promote this book. The book titled Siddu Nij Nijam, released today by Karnataka's ruling BJP government, has been crafted to portray the former Congress CM as a minority appeasing, incompetent, aloof and corrupt leader. While 3 months till state elections, the book represents a crescendo of a wave of attacks focused on Siddaramaiah.
ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ತೇಜೋವಧೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರದ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡಿಫಮೇಟರಿ. ನೋಡೋಣ ನಾನು ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Going to talk about whatever statements so far been made by Sri Sanmaniya Siddaramaiah ji. It is so damaging. We want to reflect. We want to talk about his statements, his intentions.
The Congress machinery has launched a counter-offensive alongside an FIR against the book. But Siddaramaiah only appears more galvanized. Barely an hour before the book bomb dropped, a crowned Siddha wielding a mace was seen in Kolar, where he has all but declared himself candidate in the upcoming polls. A signal to all observers, including the Congress High Command, that it is he who calls the shots. While the Congress has played down the well-known feud between Siddha and Congress State President D.K. Shivakumar, the latter couldn't sidestep defending a man who he sees as an obstacle.
BJP last 3 years, they could not find anything. They know that they have lost their game. Now elections are coming, the people are rejecting. Now they are trying to show that they want to find some fault.
The book attack on Siddha isn't new and is only an escalation of the existing material against him. Siddha may flaunt his signature sardonic indignation, but deep inside, he will likely be celebrating. Since such a pronounced attack on him only clears all doubts over Kaun Banega CM phase. The road to the Vidhana Sauda just got more interesting. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath and Supriya Bharadwaj, Bureau Report, India Today.
Another state versus governor showdown is brewing, this time in Tamil Nadu. Ruckus and sloganeering marked the beginning of the assembly session. There was high drama in the state assembly as the governor walked out during the chief minister's speech. The fight is over the governor's comments suggesting that the state's name should be changed.
Turbulent scenes in Tamil Nadu assembly as the Tamilagam war escalates. This was the moment when Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi got up and walked out while Chief Minister M.K. Stalin was speaking. Stalin, visibly amused, smiled on as the governor walked out. So what prompted these unprecedented scenes? It all started with the governor's customary address, in which he skipped crucial words that were mentioned in the speech that's given by the government. Words like Dravidian model, peaceful Tamil Nadu, the names of Periyar, Ambedkar and Anna. This prompted allies of the DMK to boycott the speech and stage a walkout. Chief Minister Stalin then retaliated. During his speech, he expressed his anguish over the governor choosing to skip parts of his speech. And then the governor chose to get up and walk out while the chief minister was still speaking. This showdown between the governor and the government has triggered a war of words outside the assembly as well.
அந்த அரசியலமைப்பு சட்டத்தை உருவாக்கிய அம்பேத்கர் பெயரே அவர் உச்சரிக்கலை அப்படிங்கிறது எவ்வளவு வேதனையான விஷயம்னு பார்த்துடுங்க. இப்படி பல விஷயங்களை அவர் திராவிட மாடல் அப்படிங்கிறத அவங்களால ஏற்றுக்கொள்ள முடியல.
Here the state government or their alliance parties, they are thinking that whatever their ideological orientation, and they are expecting that the governor has to address, not even in the assembly and also in the outside assembly. This is not appropriate for any political parties to expect that.
While the governor and chief minister have squared off several times, it's never been as ugly as this. And what's perhaps prompted this very public showdown is the recent comment by Governor Ravi, where he rued the renaming of Tamil Nadu.
Unfortunately, in Tamil Nadu, there has been a regressive politics. Regressive politics that we are Dravidian. We have nothing to do with this. And we have been just, by virtue of constitution and all, we have been brought together. In fact, Tamil Nadu is the one place, let us say Tamilagam is more appropriate.
On the first day of Tamil Nadu Assembly 2023, it was absolute chaos and mayhem. The governor deciding to omit parts of his speech was unprecedented. The chief minister getting up and expressing his unhappiness inside the assembly was unprecedented. And the chief minister moving a resolution to expunge whatever the governor has said, which was not part of the speech, is also unprecedented, which now raises a question whether the governor R.N. Ravi and chief minister M.K. Stalin have reached a boiling point, and what would be the next step of the governor of Tamil Nadu. This is Daniel, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
This is where I wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
tonight at 9 p.m. on the news today with me, Rajdeep Sardesai. It's a looming national catastrophe. Why is the town of Joshimath on the brink of collapse? And what can be done to save the sinking historic town and its residents? That's going to be the big talking point on the news today. Also, the confrontation between the Tamil Nadu government and the governor has only intensified. What next in this battle in Tamil Nadu? And why is it that Brazil's parliament found itself under siege? All that and much more on the news today.
Presented by Dhul Aaye par ghar pe na tik paaye.